Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be another video in the series of great Celtic strikers of the 1990s. This video is going to be about the Portuguese international Jorge Cadette, who played for Celtic for a wee bit over a year in 1996-1997. In the video, we'll be having a wee look at some of the goals he scored for Celtic. One of the goals that he did score for Celtic, but then was disallowed controversially in a New Year's game against Rangers at Ibrox. It would have been an equaliser for 2-2. It ended up being a game after it was disallowed where Celtic lost 3-1. We'll also touch on the controversy as to why it took 6 weeks to get his SFA registration put through at the start of 1996. Jorge Cadette was signed by Celtic in February 1996, stayed until the end of May 1997, moving on to Celta Vigo. Jorge Cadette was a Portuguese international, although he had been born in Mozambique in Africa and actually turned out to be the first African-born player ever to play for Celtic, 5'9", but remarkably good in the air and tremendous turn of pace. In his international career for Portugal, played 33 times for the full Portuguese international side, scoring 5 goals. His scoring career at Celtic was pretty amazing. Played 48 games for Celtic and scored 38 goals for Celtic, nearly 1 goal per game for Celtic over that 15 months or so he was a Celtic player. Over his whole career, 142 goals in 403 matches. Jorge Cadette ended up playing for 10 clubs altogether. He started off his career at Sporting Lisbon and actually spent the bulk of his career at Sporting Lisbon. Moving on to Vitória Setúbal, then Brescia, and then his spell at Celtic. After leaving Celtic, went on to Celta Vigo, Benfica, Bradford, Partick Thistle, and a couple of other Portuguese clubs, and actually ended his career with a brief spell in Portuguese amateur football. As I was saying earlier in the video, there was a lot of controversy regarding his signing for Celtic. He was signed for Celtic in February 1996, moving on from Sporting Lisbon. There are some different accounts of how much the fee was, thought possibly to be £400,000, although there are also a lot of stories saying that Jorge Cadette had actually bought out his own contract with Sporting Lisbon to facilitate the move to Celtic. Either way, Celtic had all the correct forms entered towards the end of February 1996, and he should have been able to make his Celtic debut right at the end of February. However, the SFA and the chief exec at that time, Jim Farry, rather controversial figure, held up the registration. FIFA sent through all the associated change of registration forms in the very start of March. However, Jim Farry and the SFA committee didn't accept it. Celtic were then made to fill in more forms, get another FIFA registration certificate, international clearance certificate. Again, SFA and Jim Farry blocked it, and so the story went on for the best part of 5 to 6 weeks. And it wasn't until the very end of March that eventually the SFA accepted that Celtic had filled in all the right forms and got all the right forms from FIFA and the Portuguese FA, etc. And Jorge Cadette made his Celtic debut on the 1st of April against Aberdeen, scoring the 5th goal, coming on as a sub in a 5-0 win. And from then onwards, his career with Celtic was one of prolific goal scoring, more controversy in the January 1997 Rangers Celtic match when a perfectly good goal was disallowed for offside when he clearly was onside by a foot or so, and even the ex-Rangers player Andy Gray, commentating for Sky Sports that day, had to admit that the goal was onside and should have stood. However, yet another example of things not going Celtic's way, and the eventual outcome of the Jim Farry, Jorge Cadette registration fiasco was that Celtic took the case to court. Arbitration panel eventually decided that Jim Farry and the SFA had deliberately delayed the registration, deliberately put up roadblocks to block Celtic and slow down the registration. It did mean that Jorge Cadette missed a couple of games against Rangers, several important league matches in a season where Rangers ended up getting nine in a row leagues and equaling Celtic's record. And Jim Farry was sacked and severely reprimanded for his behaviour in breaking all the rules and blocking Cadette's registration. Now, we're going to pop in a good number of Cadette's goals for Celtic. Some of the footage is a wee bit grainy, not totally top quality, so apologies for that. And the video does end with that goal that never was, what would have been an equaliser in the January 97 Rangers Celtic match at Ibrox. However, the linesman on the far side gave it offside when clearly it was a good foot onside. After we've had a wee look at the goals, just have a wee reminisce about Jorge Cadette and my own thoughts of him as a player for Celtic and as a goal scorer. think those goal highlights show just what a talented player Celtic had for those 15, 16 months or so of 1996 through to May 1997. Cadette, very, very quick player, tremendous reactions, tremendous ability to get in behind defences, brilliant at running onto the ball, two-footed striker, very good in the air for a player of 5'9", tremendous aerial ability as well, tremendous ability to anticipate deflections and rebounds and saves by goalkeepers, to be the first person there, and tons of goals from in and around the 6-yard box. He was a truly special player, and it was a shame that Celtic only had him for such a short period of time. He came to Celtic at a time where there was quite a lot of comings and goings, quite a lot of players joining Celtic for short periods. We had at that time, at the same time in the team, Paolo Di Canio and Pierre Van Hooijdonk. Later, Andreas Thom was a teammate of Cadette in his second season, and I'm pretty sure the Celtic management and coaching staff had tremendous problems coping with Di Canio, Van Hooijdonk, and Cadette, as they were all rather difficult people to cope with. Cadette did have quite a lot of problems later in his career with discipline and also quite massive financial problems, which is part of the reason why he semi-retired, came back, semi-retired, and then eventually permanently retired. He has been back to Celtic on a couple of occasions and had a tremendous reception from the crowd when he's come on at half-time. And for me, Cadette was a brilliant player for Celtic, and who knows, had we had him for the whole period of February through to the end of the season in '96, maybe we could have prevented Rangers getting 9 in a row. Certainly, his prolific ability of scoring goals would have been very, very handy in that run-in when we had a number of disappointing draws and results. And of course, he was missing for a couple of Rangers games also because of the delayed registration. Hopefully you enjoyed that wee trip down memory lane for those who have been watching Celtic and supporting Celtic for as long as me. Do feel free to pop your own thoughts and memories and reminiscences of Jorge Cadette into the comment section. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscriber button. Keep the numbers pushing up and up and up. And if you have liked the video or liked the channel, please do click that like button. That just about finishes things for today. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.